It's our last segment of Tri-City Sports Now, and the times they are a-changing. I'm Marky Billson, 1420 WEMB Sports Radio, Tri-City Sports Now. You will soon be able to gamble on sports in Tennessee. I would imagine then this probably looks pretty good for Bristol, the old Bristol Mall, to be turned into a casino, and my guess is there would be a sports book there in time. Let's talk about reviving Colonial Downs and such in Virginia. This is happening, folks. Tennessee was, I believe, next to Utah, the last state, the penultimate state, if you want to be there, to have a lottery. Look, I'm not saying, to tell you the truth, there's a big part of me that says, you know what, this is not that healthy. You know, maybe we should try to look for other entertainment. I tried to play poker once. I lost $40. I mean, you know, yeah. I do kind of think for 500 to 1 payoff. I'm a sucker if I take that. So, I also understand as a sports talk show host, this is the new thing. This is an extra angle on my job and my coverage, and I better embrace it. Maybe I don't have to like it, but as Ric Flair used to say, learn to love it. So, I'm not totally against this, I will admit. And yeah, as a sports fan, I think we've always had that sort of situation. I know I have. I can remember, boy, I know this team's going to win. I wish I had a place or there. I was in Vegas and I would put some money down on it. And maybe if you only do it that way, it's good. I can see a lot of Tennesseans where a lot of fans, they follow sports not necessarily with their brain but their heart. And, yeah, if you're going to go and bet on these games, that is the legislation that would permit online sports gambling beginning July 1st in Tennessee, while continuing to prohibit the practice at brick-and-mortar locations. Now, this is interesting here. But it did pass. The House even more narrowly adopted some minor Senate amendments with 51 votes. Governor Lee says that he does not believe in the expansion of gambling, but he recognizes that many in the legislature found this to be an issue they want to explore further. He plans to let this become law without his signature. Tax revenue from the sports gambling industry will bring in an estimated $50 million each year, which will be set aside for education, local government, and gambling addiction treatment. Like I said, I would like to have on, well, there's also Steve Dickerson, if I can't get Rick Staples from Pause. This was written by Natalie Allison of the Tennessean. And I mention all of this. Right now, let's see here. Virginia is also considering legalized sports gambling, so is Kentucky. It'll happen now. But what I understand right now is it won't necessarily be the casino, and this is going to be very intriguing to me because, yeah, if it's considered in Virginia and the Bristol Mall becomes a casino, you got to think that those people, they're going to want to have more of an event, a night out. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit more to go out there with a lot of cash and say, yeah, get me 100 on the enjoy yourself a real nice meal and start going back and forth with the people in the facility. Yeah, that's a fun night. As long as you win. Not so much if you lose your shirt. But regardless, the bill includes a list of people prohibited from making sports wagers, including the athletes and team owners involved. That's good. People who run sports betting operations and others with influence over a game's outcome, and it makes a misdemeanor. Only a misdemeanor. And you get a sports book, you get a casino at the sports book in the old Bristol Mall, they're going to have something there that we're not going to have in Tennessee. So I look at this right now, what this appears to be is, for instance, FanDuel. Count. You know why? FanDuel, as far as a sports book, only operates if you are physically in New Jersey. Because that was what the law was at the time. there have always been these offshore betting sites, but since they're not regulated and they are outside the fear Staples mentioned that he was looking at sports bars, like having kiosks and such, except sports bet. And so you can listen to that interview. You can watch it. It's both on YouTube. Just do Rick Staples, Marky, Billson on YouTube, or go back in the 1420 WEMB Sports Radio archives, and you'll see. Do a search on that. Just put Rick Staples, and the video will come up on your Facebook page. However, what this little bit more protection. So again, in terms of, are we going to have Sulphur Springs some sort of big casino, and we're going to then be able to have a sports book out there? Probably not for the time being. Hey, the event out there, the cute cocktail waitress, all of that. No, we're probably not going to. It might be coming soon to Virginia. I wonder what the local politicians, who of course, they're Bible Belt politicians, what they will be thinking of if the money is there in Bristol, Virginia, and not in Northeast Tennessee. I will say this. I do know, because I used to live in western PA, that eventually casino gambling came to Pennsylvania, and there were a lot of people that Virginia, which was only an hour away, and to Bristol, Virginia certainly, but comparable to, Greenville to Bristol, something like that. Maybe a little bit still easier, Greenville to Bristol, but, it was a doable drive. It would take you about an hour, that sort of thing, But see, I used to live in Pittsburgh and write for the Wheeling Intelligencer, as I give you my life story now. It was a 65-mile trip. Okay, so depending on where you lived and all this. Anyway, there was a big feeling of why should that money go to West Virginia when it could be, I don't know, because you have less idea. So this is going to be coming out. Again, as a sports talk show host, I see the advantages. Ooh, I can get more revenue. Casinos would advertise on this show. A little bit of fun for me. That would be, hey, I'm the guy that says in the Tri-Cities, a night on the town is church on Wednesday. We could be more cosmopolitan. So I look at that. But I also know of, gambling addiction and such. And, I've put down the bet and lost it myself. So years ago, I had a guy, 1-800-GAMBLER, come on and talk about gambling addiction on this radio station. That was in the first incarnation of this show. That was a long time ago. But I want to talk a few other things that I don't think in the final minutes, we'll go with some, I'll save the storylines of the SEC and the ACC, various football teams. I'll save them for tomorrow. I also think that some of the other stories that I had here, attendance dropping for 12 Major League Baseball teams, I've talked about that a lot. There are teams that are averaging less than 10,000 folks a game. Now, a lot of these are bad teams, don't get me wrong, but still teams were drawing reasonably well. It wasn't if the Cubs won or lost. It was you came to historic Wrigley Field for a wonderful day at the ballpark. One of the reasons why the Cubs always lost. It didn't matter that they didn't have to pay for a big winner. But nevertheless, I would point out to you that it's gotten bad. It's not just the weather. And I'm saying this on social media. The magazine was bad. It was really bad because it was too political. And, I'm not necessarily a stick-to-sports guy, but I am a guy who does realize how polarizing that can be. And I think that's one of the reasons why the NBA is still it isn't the NFL in terms of popularity. It's very polarizing. It's very leftist. It's not a everyman sport. I'm sorry. Baseball is getting more and more politically correct. Be it, yes, my favorite issue, banning Chief Wahoo, or be it, we can't play Kate Smith during the Yankees game anymore. And I think that's turned a lot of people off. I think that NASCAR turned a lot of people off when it became more politically correct, and we're seeing the low attendance because of that. You know, it used to be, as I said before, NASCAR was the most political. And the championship was sponsored by a cigarette. You can't get much more political, just put it that way. By the way, tonight, Nick Senzel used to play at Tennessee. He was the #1 overall prospect in the Reds organization, maybe making his debut. He played at Knox Ferry. That could be a story to watch for all the Reds fans. I've got some everybody that Jerry Bonkowski on NASCAR, as well as Josh Brown on baseball. But that's what's coming up on Friday. I'll be on Tri-City Sports Now. Marky Billson. Colin Coward is next. So long, everyone.